Hello everyone, TimeToGrind here, and today I wanted to talk about PUBG Lite because I just recently heard about it and I find it very interesting to talk about. But what PUBG is, obviously, is PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, the big old military battle royale game that kind of started this battle royale craze up again. At least in the United States, it was pretty popular, and then Fortnite came out and kind of took all of its popularity. Obviously, PUBG is still really popular, but it's very popular in a lot of Asian countries. That's its big old player base right now, is in a lot of Asian countries. I'm not saying there's not a big player base in the United States, but Fortnite kind of took over in the United States in terms of what's mostly popular. But in Asia, PUBG is still super huge. It's just as big as when PUBG was first coming up. But if you ever played PUBG on the PC, you probably realized it is in terms of optimization, it's terrible. I mean, it was way worse when it first came out, and it's been slowly getting better, but even to this point right now, the PC version of PUBG runs terribly. It's terribly optimized still to this day. I don't know how they're so bad at that, but it's so bad to the point where the mobile version of PUBG honestly runs better than the PC version. Obviously, it looks less nice, and it's on a phone and everything like that, but overall that port is a lot better than PUBG in terms of optimization. So they just recently announced PUBG Lite, which is going to be a free low-spec version of PUBG, and it's in beta testing right now. And according to Reddit user Dad Vader, it's been available since the 24th in some Asian countries, and they've just been kind of advertising the crap out of it. They've been just sending links for the beta everywhere. Whoever wants it can really get in the beta. And one misconception I've seen is that a lot of people are thinking this is just the mobile version of PUBG ported to PC, so it's a little backwards because you had the PC version ported to mobile, and they're saying that mobile port is just going to be ported to PC, and that's going to be the PUBG Lite. But that is actually not true. This is its own separate thing, and Bluehole has actually said that it is going to be a standalone game. It's going to have its own development team and its oown content creation stream, and it's kind of going to be its own thing. So if you played PUBG Mobile, obviously it's pretty much the same game as PUBG on the PC. It has the same maps and stuff like that, but the way they're monetized is very differently, and the way that they're different games. I mean, they're pretty much the same game, but it's different development teams, and they have different ways of going about things, and so they're pretty different. And PUBG Lite is going to be yet another different one, and this is mainly for, like I said, a lot of Asian countries, especially with the PC cafes they have or whatever. And it's really interesting because a lot of people are thinking, well, why didn't you just update PUBG to actually be good? I mean, especially because this PUBG Lite is going to be free. So it's a free version of PUBG that people can play on PC, and it obviously doesn't look as nice, but it's hopefully going to run a lot better. Apparently, it runs so well that you can even run them on laptops that utilize integrated graphics, which is insane because, I mean, considering how terribly optimized PUBG, the normal version is, I mean, you could have a 980 Ti, or, I mean, you could have a 1080 Ti. I mean, you could have amazing software, hardware, and it would still run like crap because it's just the way PUBG is. So for them to say, and the few things I've heard and seen about the game, and the gameplay you're seeing actually now is gameplay of PUBG Lite. It actually looks, I mean, true. It looks like it can run a lot better, and especially if it can run well on integrated graphics, that's going to be massive. That's going to be huge. Just like how huge Fortnite was with the cross-platform, this is going to be big in terms of how accessible it is. I mean, Fortnite is pretty optimized, but I mean, this is going to be huge, especially because it's free. But it really begs the question, why didn't they just kind of try to do this with PUBG? And I know development's a lot different than that and stuff like that, but I really feel like creating a whole nother separate version of PUBG is not the way to go, because I could understand the mobile version. You have the PC version, and then you have the mobile version. So the mobile version is you can't charge for mobile games. It just won't work as a mobile game. So you got to make it free. So then you have an entirely different monetization method, and you have entirely different devs, and I can understand that because there are two drastically different platforms. But for someone to the company to make another PC game that's going to have its own development team, it's going to be its own thing, is a little ridiculous to me. I think, if anything, they should try to combine them. Like maybe when you have PUBG, I mean, like it's kind of 2-in-1, so you can either run the PUBG version or PUBG Lite, and it should have the same content stream, it should have the same monetization and stuff like that, because I personally don't really understand why they're doing this. If I had to guess, it's all about money, because in a lot of, you know, Asian countries with PC cafes and stuff like that, well, it's a lot harder to get into monetization of buying, you know, the season passes and stuff like that. So with my guess is they're going to do something like the mobile version, where obviously it's free to play, we've already talked about that, but it's going to be just having all these microtransactions infested in it, and a lot of it will probably be cosmetic, if not all of it, but it's just very interesting, and it's really weird to me that they're doing this, because this isn't a different platform, this is PC as well, and this is like the first time I've kind of seen this. This reminds me of when the whole like PUBG and PUBG Lite, it reminds me of mobile games back in the day, where you would have a free version of a game and it would be called, you know, Angry Birds Lite or something, and then you would have the actual Angry Birds, and that would cost money. And then that kind of changed when mobile games just turned into all of them being free and just microtransactions so badly. So this doesn't really look that great to me, especially if you have PUBG on PC. It's nice that it'll actually be able to run well, because obviously it being able to run well is more important than it looking nice, but like, at a certain point, you just have to wonder, I mean, why not just go play another Battle Royale game, honestly? Play one that the devs seem to care or a little more dedicated about the core gameplay, rather than splitting into 3 different companies that are going to have, you know, their own different developments. I don't know. Overall, I feel like I'm being kind of pessimistic about this, because overall, it's just a free PUBG that will run better than the normal PUBG, but to me it seems like they really should just be working as hard as they can on making the core PUBG experience a lot better, and spend all of that development time and stuff like that working on PUBG. And I know it's more complicated than that, but just it doesn't really sit right with me, especially having purchased PUBG, and one of the biggest reasons I'm turned off of the game is the optimization. But I'm not going to download a PUBG Lite that's all this stuff, because like I bought PUBG, I just want to enjoy PUBG, but I can't because it runs terribly. But overall, a little pessimistic overview of PUBG Lite, and there's going to be a lot of opinions. I'm sure a lot of people will really like this, especially for PC cafes and stuff like this, or for people that can't run PUBG. I mean, if you have a laptop, if it's true, you could just run PUBG Lite on your laptop, and in cases like that, that'll be great. It's perfectly positive. I'm okay with that. But I mean, once again, I really wish they would have just maybe built it into normal PUBG and kind of had it have the same content and cosmetics and stuff like that, because having all these different systems and monetization models is a little iffy to me. But overall, I'd love to hear your guys' opinions. If you guys have any opinions about PUBG or PUBG Lite or anything like that, let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear them all. And if you enjoyed this video, then consider leaving a like down below and subscribing to see more content. New videos come out every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And like always, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day.